People, deluded, I'm back again. Now it's deadline day and it's an absolute madness. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be here later in some capacity. I'm not gonna promise a live stream, but I'll be here if and when we've officially confirmed Partey's news. And it's a bit mad. This has been the first time I felt like some little journalist. Like I felt like an excited kid on Christmas because we're signing Partey allegedly. Now the latest on that, people, courtesy of various news reports, and currently at 8:30 p.m. in the UK. Obviously, we want to see it progress, but currently, and now some reports are saying he's not in London. Apparently, some people are saying that's wide of the mark. Like I said, but most people are saying Thomas Partey is in London. He's going to have a medical and sign until 2025 with Arsenal. Apparently, it's a race against time to complete everything before, obviously, the deadline. But Arsenal have paid the release clause, and they've also notified the La Liga board because we've paid his release clause. Apparently, there were some people saying we haven't what's the right word? I'm looking for the right word, people. Party's making me excited. I don't know what the right word is. We haven't notified Atletico Madrid of our intention, not that we owe it to them. But apparently, La Liga have done that for us. La Liga have informed Atletico that Arsenal have met Partey's release clause. Apparently, neither Arsenal nor the player communicated this with Atletico. And it sounds like they're a bit upset because apparently Atletico and Simeone were so sure that Thomas was going to stay that when he called Torreira to tell him how he wanted to play, he mentioned the Ghanaian player in his tactical idea. And I can get that. See what Simeone is on, people, is exactly what I'm on. I wanted Torreira and Partey, that option. Now, for the way Arsenal's values are set up and how we'd like to play, you'd probably like one of the two. But I felt we needed that in our side. Either way, it's neither here nor there. I'm happy we signed Partey. We're signing a monster of a midfielder. We're signing an IC3 midfielder, which Arsenal need, and Arteta gets that. He's not perfect, and we have to be careful to sensationalize a player. He's going to make mistakes. He can't deliver us to the top four alone, but it's a signing to get behind, and it's a signing to get inspired by. He's a very good midfielder. He can win the ball back in deep positions. He can win the ball higher, further up the field, which is of benefit to me. For me, he can do the box to box role, but he does take up defensive positions, people, and it's a fantastic option to have in our team. Me personally, I want to play him with Ceballos. I do think he'll go 4-3-3 and play Ceballos, Xhaka, and Partey. And to be fair, I don't even mind that because Partey and Xhaka in a pivot together, that could even put Ceballos in the 10 position if we are not going to buy a 10, which it seems our war is done. When I say 10, I mean creative, man. It seems that that's not going to be the case. So we're going to have to fix these problems in-house, whether that's Willian in that role, whether that's Ceballos further forward. I don't know, but I'm happy to see that signing. Now we need to be careful. I'm seeing every time I've streamed in all the comments, I'm seeing a lot of people say Vieira. Let's be easy, for obvious reasons. There are similarities between him and Vieira. He could be the man that could finally put some respect in that position, but man need to remember who Patrick Vieira was. Man need to remember who Patrick Vieira was. I'm going to say it one time. People need to remember who Patrick Vieira was. Shout out to Partey, but let's see how it gets going before we mention them in the same breath, because if you didn't know me and you've just listening to my channel for this first time, I've always told you, look, Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, they're the ones that really made me love football, excluding the Brazilians and family influences. But it's lovely to see. It's lovely to see. Now, the Mirror have said the true cost of his transfer is 110 million. Now, I'm pretty sure if we were told the actual true cost of a lot of transfers, you might be shocked initially. They said it's 110. Obviously, apparently, we've paid his 52.5 million release clause, which has somehow gone from 45 million to 52 in this article. I don't know the figures. I'm just concentrated on the player. Apparently, we will pay him 260 a week on a 4-year deal with an option of a fifth, which is great for me. He'll get a 2.5 signing on fee and 10%, and his agents will get 10% in the package. Now, obviously, paying to agents is not a problem. Like, we have to pay agents. It's an unnecessary thing. Signing on fee isn't a problem considering the age he's at, and to move away from on the surface of a stable position at Atletico. There's no reason to leave. He's made over 100 appearances. Simeone loves him based on what I've said previously and just in general. He's bossing it. There's Champions League football. You could sign a new deal and stay, but obviously the law for another challenge is relevant, regardless of if he came here or went elsewhere. You have to give him an important contract. He's going to get a signing on fee. He's going to get 260 a week, allegedly. I don't mind that. A lot of people commented on his age and whatnot, but he's 27. By the time his contract is up without the option of another year, he'll only be 32. Now, him and Fernandinho are two separate people, but, they'll be all right. And Arsenal have an option. So, again, He'll be here until he's 32, 33. If he's still proving he's got a job by then for us, he'll get a role. If not, it is what it is. For me, I'm happy for Partey. Before we talk about Arsenal and whatnot, this is the next step in his career. He's done what he's needed to do at Atletico. I'm pretty sure he was there when they won the title. Apologies, people. Love for that, Jonathan, man. It means a lot. Love for that $5. But as I was saying before, I was kindly interrupted by a kind donation from Jonathan. Before I talk about Arsenal, and I look at Partey as an individual, I'm pretty sure he was there when they won the title. I could be wrong on that. Please don't quote me. But he spent a significant period of his life in Spain and at Atletico Madrid now. This is a significant step, Whether he believes he can win titles here or not, people will mock that. But he needs to go somewhere he believes he can win trophies, somewhere he can really fit in. And, you always want to improve. And this, he's a good player now, but you surely want to kick on now and see if you can become a super player, because he's 27, 28, he's not, he's still young, he's in his prime, but you're not getting any younger. You're not 19 where you can mess around for a couple of years. You're still 22. You still have half a career on you, sort of thing. So if he deems that this is the best place for his development, and specifically under Arteta, then that's another confirmation for me. Arteta at this moment is the man for the job, because existing players have committed their futures and they all talk about it. So I'm keen to see, how he look at it from that aspect. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders. You saw what he did against Liverpool when they played in the Champions League. You've seen what Partey's on. You know what Arsenal have needed. Really and truly, we shouldn't be able to sign a player like Partey, and it speaks volumes of Arsenal's pool and our management staff and the people around it, Edu and whatnot. Because if we didn't get this deal done, me and a lot of you was ready to open our mouth. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth and give and take. So it's a good move. He transforms our midfield. There's a lot of hype around it, of course, rightly so. He's a marquee name. He's a marquee name for many reasons. I know, look, being in North London, there's a strong Ghanaian community, and I know in Ghana there's a lot of Arsenal fans that support Partey. So there's a lot of pressure on him, and there's a lot of people rating his thing. Same way we footballing base know what he's on. He's not going to change this club's fortunes by himself. We've got another super chat. Thank you very much. It means the world. He's not going to change this a lot, but it allows fans to get inspired behind it and whatnot. And this is what I'm here for, people, really and truly. In terms of a creative midfielder, I don't think one's coming in. You hear the our thing is all but shut, and it looks a bit funny at Lyon, because it seems like Jeffrey Adelaide ain't leaving, Depay's not leaving, John Lucas ain't leaving. So in terms of their finances and their own bank balance, one would wonder what is going to happen there. But it is what it is. I would have liked Arawa and Partey. People would say it's greedy. Me, I would have been looking at it. But I suppose we have to be happy with Partey, because nothing would have been done. Maybe in hindsight, it would have been better if we, did this earlier. Clearly, this game of poker and not paying his release clause didn't work. Maybe we was trying to reserve some money to go for it didn't work. I would have liked Partey to be in quicker, but it is what it is. In the grand scheme of things, in relation to our transfer season, I'm not too sure. I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Take nothing away from the signing of Gabriel, but it was minimum that we signed the centre half. We was arguably talking about 2. So you've done the minimum away from the player, just identifying something and needing it. We know for years we've needed a better spine, especially if you're selling players. Bringing in Partey, of course, when I look at the players individually and grade it out of 10, for me, Gabriel's an 8 out of 10 signing. There's a lot of potential with him and whatnot. With Thomas Partey, that's a 10 out of 10 signing. We're punching there. So individually, it's a 10 out of 10. Collectively, I have to look at it without emotion. I need to look at, have all the areas of the squad been identified and fixed? Potentially not. Also, there's a lot of outgoings that haven't been sorted, and there's still a lot of talk in relation to those. I'm happy for Partey, people. It is what it is in that regards, man. Again, it's not signed, but you've heard one bit of the medical's been done. The next bit will obviously be done in London. The lawyers have been doing what they needed to do. It's a case of when, not if. Let's touch wood, because things can always happen. Football's a funny old game again, but I'm hoping to be here shortly past 11, or at ridiculous time, either streaming or cutting up a video for you lot to wake up to. And that Thomas Partey's officially been named as an Arsenal player. And I think there's so many reasons for this being a good signing. It's probably for another vid, but for me, again, I don't want Arsenal to necessarily play a defensive system, but based on being free at the back, based on how we've played against Liverpool and City and these teams, Partey can do that. Partey is a very tactically intelligent player. That's one thing I rate about Saka, without talking about his ability. He can clearly be told multiple things and do it well. Partey can do that. We need people who can do that. He can operate well in a pivot. You know, away from him just being a good player, there's more positives. Of course, again, I don't know his level of English, and from what I hear and see online, it is quite well. But I like the fact that he can speak Spanish. I don't know why. I don't know why it's relevant, but I like that. You know, I'd actually like everybody speaks Spanish and confuse the other team. Really, I'm happy with Partey. I'm happy for Arteta as well. He's got more options and, in theory, less to complain about. So I'm all for that, people, really and truly. So hopefully, you know, the Thomas Partey thing is progressing. We'll see how it goes, and when official confirmation rings true, we can do what we need to do. I'm keen to see what we do with the midfield options. I have to reiterate, because again, you know, in terms of what I believe we need to do and be a bit more dynamic, I think a pivot of Ceballos and Partey is right up our street. If we play with three midfielders, I can understand having Ceballos and Partey and Xhaka, because Xhaka in theory would have more time to do his little crossfield passes. But I understand if it was going to be a thing of Partey, Ceballos, maybe can you get Willian in that 10 role, and then a Saka on the wing with Pepe and Aubameyang, or, you know, either Pepe or Saka have to drop out and you bring in Lacazette. We need these options, you know, real seriously. Now, in relation to the creative midfielder, we probably have to wait till January minimum. And the good thing is for the young players, you know, you have to prove on the training ground you've got it. But I think Reece Nelson has an injury at this moment in time, so I don't know if he's going to go out on loan. But, you know, at least until January, Nelson is known as a winger and should be, but he can play in that 10 role, you know. Saka and William been swapping that around when they play, like shown against Sheffield. But Nelson has shown he can play in there. Emil's had a bit of a knock right now. When he's fit, he can play in there. And at 20 years of age, you know, you're not of the age where you need to be the finished article. But at the same time, you know, you can do your thing. You know, Emil Smith-Rowe can prove something. You've got an opportunity there under Arteta. So, you know, and you obviously got Joe Willock. I don't believe Joe Willock's a 10 any day of the week. He's better in a pivot. But the people that work for the club know more than me. So we're going to have to fix the creative problem in-house. And I do think, to a degree, a lot of it can be fixed in-house. You know, we can provoke players to want to break the lines quicker, to want to break it more actively, to play at a higher tempo, to play with more invention and more intention. That can all be taught with Arteta. Obviously, we'll get to a point where you need better quality players. I didn't want to mention him, and I've even forgot, but you'd probably have to throw Mesut Ozil into the equation. Whether him and Arteta can come to an agreement and he will start playing at least for 6 months, I don't know. But it looks like we're not going to be able to fix the creative issue in terms of signing a man. Now, I think going for Aouar in Partey loan, apologies, let me fix that. It's not supposed to say Partey loan, people. What the hell? Ooh, we've made a problem. I'll fix it later, people, man. It is what it is. It's not supposed to say Partey loan. It's about to say Saliba loan. Partey in London. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I fixed it, my dude. Apologies. Good looking out. But back to where we was. Thanks a lot, man. I forgot where I was. Like I said, I don't believe Joe Willock is that sort of thing, people. So Partey's a good signing, but it's a step in the right direction. But it's for honest, it's not enough. And you see the hour thing, yeah. And I remember what I was saying now. You see the hour thing in January, it could be a bit gazy, my guy, because I feel you. You know, if Lyon have financial issues and financial pressures, I fully understand that. I get that sort of thing. But at the same time, it could be a bit difficult, you know. Aouar himself might say, it's difficult to join a club in January and hit the ground running. He might say, forget it. You know, why would, you know, you get what I'm saying now? If Barca and Juventus go for him, it might be different. But even then, he might say, I don't want to leave 6 months into the season, you know, in a season where I'm trying to go to the Euros with France. I might not settle into that team. It's a lot to adapt and all of those sort of things. So it might be a bit difficult. And for Aouar, even mid-season, it's in his best interest to just keep playing well, not get distracted by any noise mid-season, and just stay to the end, you know, because he's probably said, I'll stay for this season, Lyon. I'm keeping it moving. And they've probably said, listen, we'll sell you next year. You know, they've probably said to him, yeah, you could go to Arsenal. It's a good club, but the big boys will come in for you. They ain't got the peas right now. Sit down, get your head down and play. So we'll have to see. I think the Aouar one's gone. Obviously, we can still buy from the Championship, and with that, we could take some risks. But we'll have to see. I'm seeing a lot of comments about Jack Wilshere. I know he's cancelled his contract by mutual consent. And it's quite sad for Jack Wilshere, man. He's only 28. Should he come back to Arsenal? From sentiment periods and sentiment purposes, of course. With a brain, probably not. You know, it sucks to say that with Jack Wilshere. He should be at Arsenal. There shouldn't be a world where Jack Wilshere is not at Arsenal. But him himself has said, for those who, like me, were clueless until you saw a bunch of people saying, check Jack Wilshere's tweet. He says, I can confirm today that I've agreed the termination of my contract with West Ham. When I joined the club in 2018, I joined with great hopes and expectations and was excited to join the club I supported as a boy. Unfortunately, despite all my best efforts and intentions, it has not worked out as expected. I've been fully fit for large periods of time at the club, including over the course of the last 8 months, trained hard every day, but unfortunately have not been given the opportunity to play. Although I am, of course, frustrated that I was not able to fully showcase that I am capable of at West Ham, I remain convinced that I can still contribute at the very top of the game. I'm still hungry, ambitious, and desperate to play football and achieve success. I'm only 28 and feel fit, strong, and ready to play. I'm looking forward to the future and hope to be able to make an announcement about the next step of my career in due course. Now, what he needs to do is take his time and think of his decision wisely. It's sad to talk about Jack Wilshere with that, man. It's upsetting. He shouldn't have ever had these injuries. He should have been a crazy player. Hopefully he can stay fit whatever he decides. Now, a fully fit Jack Wilshere is a crime scene, but you're never really confident of sustained fitness with Jack Wilshere. So beyond my love for him and everything, there's no logical reason that supports Jack Wilshere returning to Arsenal. Of course, I would love it to happen. Obviously with being a free agent, there's no rush for him. I'm sure he wants to get his future sorted now rather than later. So we'll see what he's doing. I would like him to go abroad, just try a new adventure, get away with, because obviously the press abroad, wherever he goes, they're gonna know. But can you go to Italy? Can you go to a France? Can you go to a Spain where it's a bit different, where these tags and connotations aren't gonna aren't gonna really harm you and whatnot? I'd love to see him do that. So hopefully there's some more positivity on the Jack Wilshere front, people. And obviously, keeping up the theme of former players, Theo Walcott, he left Southampton as a 16-year-old, having made only 22 appearances. Apparently, he's in talks to join them on loan, people, which is, the boy returning as a man. Since he's left, he's played at, he didn't play in 06, but he went to the World Cup in 06 as a teenager. He's obviously played for Arsenal, won FA Cups. He's played for Everton. He's played for his country. He's achieved a fair amount in the game. Let's be honest, cut the crap, and he's returning to Southampton. Not sure how he helps them. He's a good option and whatnot. Not sure how he boosts their chances of anything. I think at 31 feels kind of done for. But I'll support my former players and I want to be proven wrong in that, man. So, yeah, man. Interesting news in relation to what's happening to our former players, people. Moving away from the Partey news, and as much as I want Thomas Partey and to speak about him until there's nothing to talk about him anymore, apparently Sokratis has had a loan move, a potential loan move to PSG rejected. Apparently PSG offered to take him on loan for free, apparently, to which Arsenal rejected. And of course, they're right for rejecting that. You don't want to pay any loan fee for a player that's contract's up in the next 6 months or so, or less than that. He's allowed to talk to clubs in January. You might as well let him sit on his hands until January, try to force him to leave, and in the event that he could be some depth for us, let him be some depth. Of course, we're trying to move him on. In relation to Guendouzi, obviously Torreira was still awaiting official confirmation of Torreira's move to Atletico, and you could probably imagine him and Partey's moves will kind of be announced around the same time. Guendouzi's actually confirmed his move with the close of the Bundesliga window to Bundesliga side Hertha Berlin on a season-long loan. He'll wear the number 8 shirt, and hopefully Guendouzi can get his future back on track and get back playing again. He needs to be somewhere where he can actually train and play. He needs to be out of this situation at Arsenal. I have small hope that he goes there, plays, puts himself in the shop window, either to return at Arsenal or get more money, kind of mature up a bit, because the man's got ability. Arteta does believe in him. Arteta started you against Man City and things like that. Your attitude has cost you at Arsenal. So we'll have to see, man. But it's sad to see. And you look for Arsenal, you say most appearance for Arsenal since the start of the 2018-19 season, only 4 players have played more than Guendouzi. And considering he got rubbed out towards the end, it could have been more. First place, Aubameyang, for obvious reasons, with 100 appearances. Lacazette with 92, Torreira with 89, Xhaka with 87, and obviously in 5th place out of this list from Sky Sports. You've got Guendouzi with 82. And when you consider that, with exception of Torreira, who is quite young himself, but he's got a solid grounding in the senior level, all of them are fairly household names. At least 3 of the 4 were known fairly until you came to Arsenal, considering, you know, you was more or less a teenager when you arrived here and was only here in 2018. That's a fantastic achievement, but you probably let it go to your head. I have small hope that there's some reconciliation that Arteta and him do with time. Time can be a healer. So hopefully there is something more positive in that regards. But we'll have to see. Elsewhere, though, you know, a player I've spoken about in addition to Luka Netz that plays for Hertha Berlin, and I actually can't find the footage. Omar Rekic, 18 years of age, centre half. He's fairly composed on the ball. He's got a good frame. You know, he's a composing figure. 18 years of age. He will join Arsenal. I'm not too sure on the fee. Apparently, it's reported to be €1 million. Apparently, the 18-year-old will have to wait because he'll have to join us in January. So he'll have to sit on his hands for about 8 months. Well, man said 8 months, for about 2 months, or play out the remaining games there because he's, you know, apparently he wasn't able in the remaining hours. I don't know if it's to do with the Bundesliga window, probably to get him registered and whatnot. So he'll have to sit on his hands for 2.5 months. So he'll join in January. And we've also signed a young striker who's about 6'5", allegedly from Swedish side Malmo. I know nothing about him, but he signed for 500k and he played for Malmo. So you've got to be decent to play for that Swedish team. They've got a good track record. But his name is Nikoloja Duj Muller, 18 years of age. Know nothing about him. Can imagine they'll both link up when the time comes with the 23s. Keen to see what he's about. You know, Balogun appears to still be at this club, and to be fair, in 2.5 months, he'll probably agree a free transfer elsewhere, if not sold in January. And whatnot. So that's probably that with in mind. Of course, at under 18/23s level, which Sam Greenwood was stepping up to 23s level, we lost Sam Greenwood. So there's the potential risk of losing Balogun and losing Greenwood. Tyrese has gone on loan. So we need a bit more firepower and a bit more to boost these rankings. And I'm all for that, you know, even if he doesn't make it Arsenal, which I hope he has all the potential to, you know. He signed for 500k. Can you turn him into a couple £1 million worth player? So we'll have to see. But in Rikic's purpose is he'll have to wait until January the 1st after an agreement was reached, but a medical couldn't be completed in time, and neither could the necessary administrative work. Now, apparently Saliba, you know, he can't go to Germany. He was linked with a couple German clubs. That window has closed. Apparently, Arsenal and Saint Etienne are in talks, Julian Laurent says, as a point of returning him back there for a season. And that would be good, you know, familiar surroundings. All he needs to do is focus on playing games and staying fit. And he'll still only be 20 or so when he arrives at this club. We need to take our time. Of course, I want to see him play on a regular basis, people. But what we want to do is have a real player that's ready. You know, same people that are crying for him, myself included, because I want to see him, you know, learn fast, get destroyed and learn from it. We will say he's not ready and he's raw and he's all of these sort of things. So we'll have to just be steady and whatnot. It's interesting you think like that. I didn't want Guendouzi to leave either, man. I really didn't want him to leave, but it is what it is. I was hoping for Szoboszlai as well, but it is what it is, my guy, man. So, you know, it's happy that the Partey thing is moving closer and it appears to be happening. You know, keen to see what we do with Saliba. Keen to see if we can move people on. You know, apparently Mustafi has interest. Clearly nothing is materializing. Sokratis, it doesn't appear that he's ready to take a medical anytime soon. You know, Kolasinac, it seemed he was going to Leverkusen, but the window in Germany shut. So we failed to really move players on. So in terms of outgoings, it's been a disappointing, I was going to say summer, but let's just say transfer window because it's October right now. But we'll have to see what happens, man. We'll really have to see what happens on that note. Either way, this is the squad we've got until Jan. Creativity is going to be a problem and is a serious issue, but at least in theory, we have more tools to have a better crack at fixing creativity in-house than we ever did on the strengths that Partey is going to come with, definitely since players are leaving. Personally, I can only see Joe Willock being a squad player. I think he'll be struggled to develop past that, but I'll back him. I want him to stay at the club and have a future regardless. I like Joe Willock, but I'd love to be proven wrong. And with all this midfield talk, there could even be a case of him going out on loan, you know. If he looks back in his season and he hasn't developed dramatically according to his own abilities, I think he's got to ask himself serious questions. As much as I like Partey's not an island. Partey's only one man. So, you know, I don't think it's enough for top 4, but it's a good signing nonetheless. I mean, that's what the major article people them said in the Sky Sports and whatnot. So maybe it's just was. Who knows, man? Who knows? Away from that, young Arsenal centre half, 21-year-old Daniel Ballard has moved to Blackpool on loan. Obviously, he had his first little loan spot at Swindon last year and it ended in injury. He's joined Blackpool. You know, he's 21. He needs to play senior football. He's joined a big club in Blackpool where, you know, you're going to have to play well. And I'm sure he relishes the chance to do that. You know, we've got him, we've got McGuinness, we've got Medley. I said all of these young centre halves need to be trying to play first team football. And it seems they're all doing it. If I was Harry Clark, I'd be trying to go out on loan as well. But we'll have to see. I wouldn't mind Buendia, but it doesn't seem that we're involved in him. I think it will be a midfield three, my guy, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't go with a pivot of Ceballos and Partey. You're definitely right about that. I mean, if Arteta thought he was ready, he'd be in the squad. So while I personally think he's ready, at the same time, we need to just allow it, innit? We're not training him week in, week out. If he came and he looked like a duck out of water, you'd probably be the first one to have something negative to say, people. In relation to Arsenal, though, there isn't much more to speak about or much more to really focus on, people. So let's just see if there's any talking points generally in relation to deadline day. Ryan Sessegnon's gone on loan to Hoffenheim. Rudiger apparently is going to stay at Chelsea. Apparently Spurs are talking about trying to make a bid for John Stones on loan. Eric Garcia to Barcelona won't go away. Deluded went to AC Milan, allegedly, the Athletic said. Josh King had a bid to move to Torino, kind of quashed, as, you know, Bournemouth rejected moves. Apparently, Seville and Fiorentina are also keen. Remember, he had interest from Manchester United, so it's quite sad. In relation to Spurs, apparently Gazaniga wants to go. They're open to selling Cameron Carter-Vickers. Aurier, Jack Clark, and Dele Alli are expected to stay, as is Danny Rose, who they wanted to move on. I'm sure you've all seen Ramiro, Manchester United goalkeeper. His wife is having a lot to say on social media and saying she demands her husband is let go. So I'm sure United would have to deal with that. And to be fair, you can't see him playing ahead of Dean Henderson or De Gea. They're in talks for a Penarol. I can never say the Uruguayan club's name, but they're in talks for a talented winger who was apparently meant to go Lyon. Pelistiri for 10 million. And apparently they're also in talks for Ahmed Traore of Atlanta. Talks for Ousmane Dembele have failed, which I'm ecstatic about, people. Apparently Brendan Williams, won't see a move happening to Southampton on loan. So it's an interesting one, man. There's 2 hours left of the market. We'll have to see, man. Hopefully in the next 2 hours' time, I can come back here and speak about us signing people. So we'll have to see, man. I just want to see Partey confirmed, really, so I can come here and caption the title of a video. Partey signs for Arsenal. So we'll have to see, man. But I don't think Partey is enough alone in isolation to get top four. But it gives the fans something to believe, and we all want better players and whatnot. So catch you lot in a couple hours, or if not, I'll catch you lot when I catch you lot, people. Sorry, it's not a longer stream, but there isn't more to speak about, so I'm not going to bore you lot, man. Appreciate the lovely words that you lot are saying as well, and we'll catch each other on the rebound. Get in the comments, like, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed, people. Make sure you've liked the video before getting out of here. Thanks for all the super chats. I'm out.